All right, y'all, what's up? What it do? Welcome back. You should probably see behind me, got some stuff going on with the car. No head on it. Um, Quick story. So a couple weeks ago, just driving it out normally. Um, Went to the gas station to get some gassed up. Went to leave the gas station, started hearing a slight ticking. Sound to me like it was coming from the head, particularly the exhaust side. So Um, nothing too crazy, too loud. Power still seemed fine. Like I said, I didn't do anything crazy after that, but I was only maybe 5 minutes from home, so I just went ahead and went back to the house. Um, I took the valve covers off. I'm thinking like maybe it's like the lash on one of the buckets, maybe something's going on. Checked all that, everything was good. Like buckets spin freely, all the shims were there. Um, Took the cam covers off, cam journals, pretty mint, no real issues. Um, Changed the oil, nothing crazy in the oil. Put it back together. Drove it down the road. Didn't really hear anything anymore. So I'm like, okay, maybe it's some fluke thing. So I was like, well, let me drive it a little longer. So I was gonna drive it to work one morning and taking it to work and um, had to get on the interstate again. Not in any boost or anything, just normal cruising. Probably about 70, between 70 and 75, just cruising normally. The gear and stuff in here, that puts me about 2,200 RPM, so nothing crazy. Then all of a sudden, I hear it super loud. So luckily, I'm coming up right on the exit, so it's like let me put it in neutral, cruise off the exit. Um, Stupid of me, honestly. My plan was actually probably just try to limp it back home because I was only like 5 minutes away when this happened. I just left the house, but um, as soon as I put it in neutral on the off ramp, it shut off. Um, Coasted to a stop. Um, I was curious if it was going to turn over though, so I did try to crank it. Cranked over fine. I could still hear the noise, so I wasn't doing it anymore, or whatever. So, long story short, pushed it to the gas station. It sat there. I had a friend come help me tow it back to the house. Um, so of course, then I started tearing it down, um, and lo and behold, revealed some stuff. So, show you what we got. All right, so here's the block. Again, I got the head off. Um, if you notice, most everything looks all right, except when you get to number three. This is where my issue is at. Um, Number three piston. When I took the head off, this is what I found inside. Sitting just like that, pretty much the bottom of my exhaust valve. All the other pistons look pretty good. The walls look pretty immaculate. Like piston walls don't have any. I can still see the cross hatching and everything, so no real issues there. But definitely broke a valve. That's everything I took off. Again, everything looks pretty good. Like cam lobes are pretty mint. Like some slight stuff, but that's just normal wear. Like I don't see anything that is of any real issue. Um, can't feel anything. So seems good to go. This was the valve. Um, so this was the valve. Spring seems perfectly fine. No issues with that. And then this is the valve itself. So seems like it was a pretty clean break. I thought maybe it dropped the valve, retainer or something, but the keepers are still there. I actually can't even get this out now. And this kind of makes me feel like the idea was pretty right from what I was talking to some guys about. This is the seal. Seal is still soft, pliable. Like I say, it wasn't in there that long. So of course here's the the other pieces of the stem. But so what I think happened was some of those hard limiters I had set. Yeah, they sound cool and all that, but I think what ended up happening was that the hard cuts on the limiter were too much. So we're thinking that it two-looped this valve. Basically, instead of the normal slope here, it kind of pushed it over into a two-loop shape that gives a little bit of extra clearance. So that's probably the tapping I heard initially. And I think that ended up also stretching the valve a little bit until the point where it cracked. And again, I think it probably had like a stress crack because nothing happened while I was driving. Like I said, it was just normal driving. This didn't happen while I was drifting, any of that stuff. So thinking it just caused a stress crack, and then over time it just got to that point. So here is the head. Hold on. And then if you'll see, here's the bottom of my head. So pretty destroyed. The rest looked fine. I don't see any crazy issues with any of the others. Looks like this one may have, oh no, that's actually just some dirt, so disregard that. But yeah, this pretty trash. And I know that this didn't happen until the highway because, like I said, I took the top end pretty much apart. And when I did that, I pulled this spark plug out and it was perfectly fine. And as you see now, it definitely wouldn't be there. So this had to have happened after right on that highway incident. So, which leads me now what to do. So I already kind of started sourcing some parts. I managed to source a spare head. So I got a spare head. I'll put them on the table here. We'll compare in a second. And then obviously the old head. The only thing I need to do off that is I had to take off I got some titanium hardware on the intake side. I'll take that off. Take the studs out of the exhaust side just for spares. This one, the spare has it in it, and then just move everything over. The water neck, filters, the hooks, cam sensors, all the stuff that needs to be moved over. So I'll do all that, but I'm gonna get this on the bench. We can kind of get into it a little more. All right. So like I said, this is the old head. Everything looked fine. The buckets came out. Buckets looked just fine. Even the buckets from number 3 exhaust side. So it's your number 3 exhaust buckets. Perfectly smooth, normal wear. I don't feel anything catching. I actually may probably reuse some buckets. I got buckets with the new ones too, but I actually think these are a little bit cleaner, but we'll see. So what I'm gonna go through and do, just take some of the stuff off that I don't need on here anymore, so I can put that with the new block. And then the main thing I have to do is, if you remember here on the exhaust side or the back side, I drilled and tapped this fitting. So that's gonna be the main thing I'm gonna try to get out and get situated. Take the spark plugs out, all that stuff. These springs are actually still good. I got some upgraded springs coming. So I got springs, I got some new valves. Again, the spearhead comes with valves, but kind of want a little upgrade. So I got some stainless steel GSC valves. These are the stock retainers, steel retainers. Got some titanium retainers, GSC retainers, GSC keepers. So all that should be good. The only thing was I did kind of try to port this head a little bit. I'm not gonna do that with the spare. I may try to do like a just a slight smoothing of the casting flash, but I'm not gonna do any crazy porting on this one. So I'm gonna do that, and I'll take it to the machine shop, just make sure it's decked flat, so I have a good sealing surface, and go from there. So I'm gonna just start working on getting some of the stuff off, and yeah, that's it.
All right, so remember I had this tool. I got this off Amazon. And I literally just take this piece, put it on here, hit it with a hammer. It'll push the spring down, capture the keepers in the magnet, and good to go. I used this in the install way back when I first put this together, but it works pretty good. Sometimes you gotta maybe hit it 2 times. Got the retainer, and then the keepers are stuck in there. Pull out the springs. I thought about like, is this damaging the springs? But I mean, these springs see way more force than what I'm about to put on them with that. So I think it's good to go. But I just wanted to show y'all how I do it. Then I just use this magnet here to pick the keepers out. And then got these pliers here. I usually get the seals out. You just put it on the seal. Boom. There's the actual seal. And after that, I just, with no seal, the valve comes right out. You know, that's pretty much it. Simple. All right, so I got everything torn apart for now. Springs out, valves out, like keepers, everything. Everything looks great. Like, I don't see any issues. Like, valves even look decent. Seals, especially the intake side. Like, look at that. Like, it kind of doesn't get much better.
So quick interjection. So again, based on what I'm seeing, everything looks like it was set up pretty good. My only assumption is probably these rise off limiter. Probably did it in probably some kind of valve float is what I'm thinking. Maybe the valve float caused it, or again, like I was talking with a tuner, potentially just those hard cuts on that limiter kind of stretched the valve, two-looped it enough to where it just got brittle and probably stress fractured over time and finally broke. Probably fractured it during that, and like I said, it seemed fine after that until it finally got to the point where it broke. So not exactly sure, but yeah, everything else looked good, so I'm confident in that. Like I say, piston, get that one replacement piston. Maybe I do a whole set. I'm debating, but it all looks good. So it should be good to go ahead, pull the engine out, rebuild it, put it back together, and go from there.
Cams here, all this stuff is good to go. Caps for the old head, you know, I'll throw these away. So I'll probably save the bolts, but the caps have to go with that head. So I took the plug out, so you know I drilled and tapped my original head to get this 12AN fitting in the back. So I kind of spent the last bit of time doing that to this one. So got it drilled and tapped, and then I just kind of been cleaning it out. So this is the new head I'm gonna use, all torn apart. And then I'm gonna lap the valves. It's pretty dirty here, so I'm gonna lap the valves, and I'm not gonna port it, but I am gonna use a little sand bit here just to flush out some of the like just that casting that's in there. Kind of try to smooth it out. I'm not doing nothing crazy like I did last time, but just you can almost see the step right here, how it steps from the smooth part to the casting. So smooth that out a little bit. but nothing else, nothing crazy. I'm gonna leave it just like that. And I'm also been thinking maybe smaller chambers and stuff like that might give me a little bit more reaction and spool up or power from the turbo, since there's not as much space to fill. So that's it, all that's done. Like I said, once I do that to the head, I'll take it to the shop, make sure it's decked, make sure it's flat and cleaned up. Then I should be good to put that back on. I'll start assembling the head. Everything should probably be here by next weekend. So by the time that stuff comes, I can start assembling the head. Again, this is all the old stuff. You know, my vent valves here. So I have the new BCs. Again, these are the BC valves, but these are the 80 pound seat pressure. So the ones I'm getting, I think, are 105. So a little more seat pressure. Again, I won't have the steel retainers. I actually have titanium retainers, so that's a little bit lighter as well. Then I got some new keepers, and then I'll have the stainless steel GSC valves as well. I was gonna almost go with the Inconel on the exhaust side, but I don't think what I'm doing is gonna really need that. But I wanted the steel, so hopefully instead of next time if this breaks, it'll actually just bend and necessarily not. The head will probably still be messed up, but at least the valve won't break and drop in the piston and mess the pistons up. So that's it for this one. All torn apart. Again, I'm gonna lap these, take this to the shop, and then next thing you see, you should be putting the stuff together.